Hello everybody and welcome to Higurashi GOU episode 4 anime review. So now, if people weren't convinced before that this wasn't a remake, I hope this episode puts the kibosh on it and basically says, yeah, this is new. This is definitely some new stuff, which is interesting in the sense that it means, hey, we don't have a damn clue where this is going, because from what I can tell, and as I said, I'm a relative newcomer to this franchise, but as I can tell, there's no, this isn't like an adaptation of anything. This is like brand new, so nobody knows where this is going, which is definitely an interesting way to take, not a way anyway, well, obviously not a way anywhere expected it to go, anyone expected to go. Words are really hard. Also, thank you to everyone who answered me last week. The general consensus seemed to be there's no point watching Umineko, so I'm just going to assume when something happens that I don't 100% understand, maybe there's some characters I don't know, I'm going to assume it's something to do with Umineko. So, but until that happens, I'm in no rush to watch it. And people said the anime was bad, so I believe the people. You know, I'm a slave to the people. I believe what you say. But yeah, this episode was pretty interesting. A lot of interesting dynamics, I guess, so to say, being thrown up. Anyway, let's crack on with the episode, see how everything goes down, and do this thing. We begin where we left off, roughly. Keiichi has just got off the phone with Uishi, if I'm remembering right, and he's trying to get to sleep. The problem is he keeps seeing Rena peeking through his door hole. First of all, here's your first thing you do, Keiichi. You shut the door hole so you can't imagine her peeking through it. And secondly, I don't have a second point, but that's the first thing you should do. Maybe he managed it. The morning after, obviously, he's not had any sleep because he's been paranoid and he's worrying and all that other stuff. So he tells his ma, he's like, Ma, I'm not going to school because I'm not well, basically. Which, hey, we've all pulled an I'm not well card, I'm staying in bed, and that's, you know, we all get it. Real reason though is because Rena comes to the door to get him. He really doesn't want to see Rena because he's a scared right now. He is a very scared, and his mum says, hey, go to the clinic. Now this is where things start to get interesting. I'd say things have gotten interesting before. Here's like where things start to get interesting. So the clinic is being completely remodeled, which I'm damn near positive. No, I am positive. Like that did not happen in the original. Probably this is something to do with Takano and Tomitake going missing. You know, whenever that was Was that last week or the week before? It was last week, wasn't it? Yes, it was. No, probably something to do with that, which is, I mean, what does this mean? I assume that means like Irie's gone. If there's anyone watching who hasn't seen the original, this probably doesn't mean anything to them, but I guess I'll say it anyway. It's interesting to see because those dudes seem to be the same dudes from the original. You know the dudes I mean. It's hard to tell, obviously, because the art style changed, which I'm not going to get into. I think it was. I still think it's mostly fine. Someone said it wasn't as spooky last week's episode, and I do agree with that. But for me, the horror doesn't really bother me. It's not why I'm here. I'm more here for the intrigue and mystery. But that's just me, you know. That's completely separate. But the key information here is the clinic is being remodeled, and what the hell does that mean for the future? Keiichi, I guess, miraculously feels well enough, or he's got nothing better to do, I guess. So he goes to school, chats to his friends a little bit. He's slow in responding to Rena because he's still a scared of her. Rika is watching him pretty, like, out of the corner of her eye, like, okay, I think I know where we are. Like, I gotta put the kibosh on this, basically. And that she does. She follows him to talk one-on-one, asks if anything's bothering him, and he just tells us, like, I'm a scared of Rena, basically. And she says, hey, you're overthinking it. You know, she's alright. I'm gonna calm you. She calms him down, gets him to start thinking a bit more logically and not paranoia-filled. She's like, you're really doubting yourself here and not Rena. He's like, you know what, Rika? I like you. You're right. You're absolutely right. I need to stop doubting my friends and believe in the heart of the cards and all that other good stuff. So this was the first interesting bit, because I was thinking, okay, so Rika is, you know, obviously, I mean, they've said it in this show, she's time looping or whatever, so she's directly interfering now, because she's seen this loop, I guess, So she's interfering with it to ensure that that ending, the baseball bat ending we'll call it, doesn't happen. And it seemed to work, you know. Keiichi's like, yeah, okay, makes sense. I don't really want to say exactly what she's doing because, you know, they haven't revealed what the thing is, you know, the thing that's making them kill each other. They haven't revealed what that is in this show, this series. So just in case, I'm not going to say. But you know if you know, basically, is where we're at. He returns home to no one. His parents have apparently gone to Tokyo for the day, and, you know, fair enough. One thing he does do, he throws the magazine, you know, saying about the murders and everything. He throws that in the trash because of Rika's talk. He's like, I don't need this. You know, I need to believe in my friends. I was horrible. I was in the wrong here. So he throws the trash away. Basically, at this point, it's become clear, okay, this ain't the same timeline as last time. I mean, it was already clear to me, but you get what I'm saying. There's no doubt anymore. So to speak, words are hard. He's still convincing himself that, hey, I'm imagining all the bad stuff. He keeps doing it like there's nothing wrong, you know. He might not be 100% sure yet, as I said, but he's slowly getting there. Then his mum calls, as I said, to say, hey, we got Tokyo. Reina's going to bring you dinner, and he's still a bit horrified. And I was just thinking about the needle in the stuff, but that didn't happen in this one, obviously, because, well, Mion was all right in this one. She didn't really get involved. I'm sure that'll change some point. And then we see Rena with a spooky face at the door, because spooky faces are spooky. It's Halloween. Well, it's not Halloween yet, but it's almost Halloween, don't you know? He goes to answer the door, and because Rena is really impatient, she keeps trying to rattle the door and bust it open. It's like, Rena, wait 2 seconds and I'll unlock it for you. You're not helping his paranoia by continuously smacking the door. What are you doing? As you do. He's still unsure though, but he has a flashback to the baseball bat ending and Rika's words. Rena does stare through the peephole, not even the peephole, the crack in the door at one point. Like I think she did do that in the original. I really do remember that shot, so I'm almost positive they did. But yeah, she does that at one point, which spooks him, and then he remembers the baseball bat ending. He probably doesn't know what that is, but he remembers it. And also Rika's talk, and he's like, you know what? No, I'm gonna be a good guy here. And he just opens the door, lets her in. If I remember in the original, he like slams the door on her arm and like almost breaks her arm. If I'm remembering right, I could be wrong though. But yeah, no, he lets her in and gives her a big old hug. She's got a lot of food, but then the important thing is the big old hug, and she's a bit like, what? And it's like, it's alright. You know, I've got a bad throat. Sorry if that's coming through. Trying my best to keep it down, but you know what I'm saying. But the important thing is here, hey, he let her in without any resistance. I'm sure. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I guess this timeline isn't going to end with Keiichi baseball batting them, which is, you know, that's good. That's very good. I wonder how they're going to wrap this one up, this arc up, or maybe it's just going to be one really long arc. You know, how are we going to do it? Not exactly how it panned out though, was it? Everything seems to be pretty normal during this. They're being very pleasant to each other. Rena is like, watch some TV, I'll prepare food. You know, fair enough. They're just having casual chit chat about how she used to talk to her mum at the supermarket and how she never sees Keiichi, or Keiichi never sees her. I forget exactly which way it goes. Pretty just casual stuff, you know, right? And then it cuts to everything she's got in her box. And I don't know nothing about, you know, Hinamizawa culture and, you know, cuisine, but I'm very sure those are not cooking utensils, you know. She had a lot of stuff. I would say she had far too much stuff, even for what she was plotting. Like, half that stuff she didn't even use. Like, why'd you pack it all? You know, you just made yourself look more suspicious. Like, that, I mean, yes, she's probably not in her right mind. I'm just going to say it. So, Keiichi goes in and sees all this nonsense she's got, and then Rena attacks him with a knife. Yeah. Turns out Keiichi wasn't going paranoid, and, you know, Rena was actually pretty psycho. I guess she says something, I wrote it down, what did she say? So in order to protect her dad, she's going to kill Keiichi and make herself disappear so that the curse won't get her dad. Whether or not she's got any evidence to believe it's going to go after her dad, or if it is just, you know, the paranoia, which, again, if you know, you know. whether or not, so it turns out in this one, Keiichi was able to stave off the paranoia, as opposed to in the original, where, he goes a bit paranoid crazy and imagine things that weren't actually happening. Whereas in this one, Keiichi is, he could stave that off, and Rena is the one that gave in to the paranoia and did the bad thing. Which is, they have a brief fight. He has a golf club at one point. He knocks her out, or seems to knock her out against the table. She was fine though. Got a big old stab, and right in the heart. I think it was the heart. I'm going to say it was the heart, but he lasted a long time for it to be a heart. Might have just been the chest. It's not too important, is the important thing. Yeah, and then she stabs him a lot, which brings us to my first big issue, which it isn't going to be an issue forever, but it's an issue for right now, and that is censorship. No thanks. Get rid of it. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, it was terrible. It was all over the place. It was like a little black dot, but boy, was that little black dot distracting. When you watch the episode. Of course, presumably when the Blu-rays come out, they're going to remove the censoring. But damn it, they're not out yet, and I would rather. That's why I always wish that they'd release uncensored stuff and censored stuff at the same time. Just do it, man. Have a late night version. Have a in the day version. It's really not hard, But nothing we can really do about that. It does suck, but it's not going to be a problem forever. So whatevs is sort of my issue. Not my issue. My thing. As I said, she stabs him a lot, like a lot to the point that he should not be moving. But he is still moving, and he hits her over the head with something. Was it the alarm clock? I can't remember what it was. But the point is, he hits her, over the head a lot while she's still stabbing him. They do that for a while, and then we cut to. Looks like they both killed each other. Basically, she's got this massive lump on her head, or it might not be a lump. It might actually be like a gouge where he smacked her. It's dented in her head. That's not the important. Well, I mean, it is important, but. Thing is, she's dead. He's also dead, although he is crying. Maybe he's not dead. He should definitely be dead, though. You see how many times she stabbed him? Yeah. I mean, let's just see what happened. So Keiichi wakes up in a hospital. He's still alive. He survived the whole thing, which is good. They don't tell him what happened to Rena, though. It's not difficult to figure out, though, is it really? Oishi shows up and is like, what the hell happened? And Keiichi is like, I don't know what happened, I don't know how this happened. I have no idea, basically. And it's like, yeah, Keiichi, I understand. Mion also shows up later on to say, yeah, Rena died, and also Rika and Satoko got stabbed to death. And it's just like, what? I think she said, if I remember right, she said that they were found the day after the Keiichi and Rena killed each other. Or Keiichi killed Rena, technically. But, so if they were found the day after, I'm going to assume that they were already killed before the Keiichi and Rena incident. Maybe that's just me. Did Rena kill them too? They were killed with a knife, which is what Rena used to kill Keiichi, so maybe that's just me finding a connection where there is none. I'd never make it as a detective. Or it's probably a red herring. I don't think the killer is the same as the original. I think it's a completely different killer, if I'm being honest. But that opens it up so much. I don't know who it could be at this point. Because, from the original, you think you know who's good and who's bad. But then it turns out the bad one might not be the bad one in this one. But then does that mean the good one of the good ones is bad? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. That is for sure. Other stuff happens too after Mion leaves. The nurse asks if his neck itches, to which he starts itching his neck and then screams. But he didn't notice it before, so either he'd been itching his neck the whole time and it was already scratched up, but we couldn't see that because he wasn't aware of it. Or, I don't know, that's sort of what I came up with, but I'm not too sure. Or something else, I don't really know. That's kind of what I thought. I could be completely off, though. Who knows? But that, I guess, brings an end to this, presumably. I mean, I definitely am suspicious of that nurse, although she's not an existing character, so it makes me a bit less suspicious. But she sounded evil. Let's call a spade a spade. She sounded evil, and she had some injections and some other stuff. but she is a nurse, so they might have been relevant. But that was where the episode ended, and also where this arc ended. Next arc is Cotton Deceiving, I think it was called. It was like, the thing I've noticed from the first two arcs, if I've got this right, is that they've got the first half is the same as the original, the first half of the title, and then the second half, well, for these first two, is Deceiving. So Demon Deceiving and then Cotton Deceiving. So who knows? I'm going to assume, so the next one I'm going to assume is going to be sort of like this one was sort of like the first arc of the original. The next one I think will be sort of like the second arc with you know, the Sonozakis. Who knows? But yeah, I'll be honest, I like that it's not a remake. Like, I know that might be a bit weird to say, because I think the general consensus is, why did they trick us, damn it? But I'd much rather have something new. Like, it at least keeps me engaged more. If it was just a remake, it's like, yeah, it's a remake, but I'd always be comparing it. Now the comparisons aren't quite as easy, and I look forward to seeing where it goes. But what was my favourite part of the episode, though? That's a question, and it is a question. I'm actually still sort of thinking about it right now. So let's get to that. I'm going to be honest, I really do like the twist. I think I'm going to go with the twist with Rena, like Keiichi thinking he's overthinking it and being paranoid, and then Rena actually being crazy. And when you think about it, Rika got Keiichi killed. Like, Keiichi, I mean he would have, you know, it would have ended up the same as the first arc in the original if he hadn't listened to Rika. So he probably wasn't going to make it anyway. But Rika definitely didn't. I mean, he didn't die. You know, I guess Rika saved his life in a sort of roundabout way. Obviously, she didn't know anything about that. And, you know, now she's dead. So there's that. Really interested to see how this is going to go on. I assume we're going to get a, like, mirror arc. Like, you know, in, like, the first one, they had, like, here's the stuff that happened, and then here's why it happened. I don't know the official terms. Is it question and answer? I think it's question and answer arcs. So assume later on we're going to get an answer arc to this, sort of from Rena's point of view, maybe, showing why she went a bit psycho. That'd be helpful. I mean, because she said some things that, you know, we don't know the complete answer to yet, so presumably that's going to get filled in at some point, which would be handy. But yeah, as I said, I assume next week is going to start an arc similar to the second arc of the original, which is going to be interesting. Because of how this one sort of played out, I've got an idea of how that one may play out. Like, basically, you know, the baddie from the second one, it's going to be the other one, is what I'm thinking. You know what I mean if you've seen it, maybe. I'm being deliberately vague just in case, but hopefully that clues people in if they have seen the original. If not, sorry, I'll be a bit less vague, maybe. But I don't want to spoil things, because I know there are people that are watching this, you know, fresh, which I wouldn't recommend, but that's not my decision to make, quite frankly. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know what you thought about the episode and stuff in the comments and stuff, and subscribe for more reviews. I'm interested to see other people's theories. I've enjoyed reading them, both on my comments and then also on, you know, other posts, other videos, other whatever. It's always good to see what other people are thinking is going to happen. That's why, as I said, I like that it's, you know, new, as opposed to, if it's based, that's the thing with, like, brand new anime, right? Like, not based on anything, is that everybody's thrown for a loop together, you know? Nobody knows. Like, if you watch something that's got a manga, you'll have those pesky manga readers, right? That, like, spoil it, basically. I'm just going to call it what it is. That's not going to happen here, which is exciting. But anyway, I'll wrap this up properly now. See you guys next time. Take care, and bye, guys.